Yes, I see us. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jessica Lynn Speaks Life on KUAW, Kansas City's global community radio station. We are so excited to be back with you today. Today is the first Sunday in August the 1st. Can you believe it? We are already in August. Unbelievable. Already in August. And wow, the year is almost over. And we have made it. We've made it to over half the year. And I'm excited. I'm excited about the best is yet to come. So, wow, I have a phenomenal guest. So you can see her beautiful face here. But I'm going to introduce her in a moment. I'm going to cover some things that have been going on in the community. Listen, if you have something that's been going on in the community or will be going on, please do let me know. I'll be back on the third Sunday of August, and I'll be happy to share that. It is back to school season. So many people are getting prepared to go back to school. And Giving Hope and Help just had their 7th annual Education is Your Passport Scholarship Program, and it was phenomenal. We awarded 7 scholarship recipients. I call them the Magnificent 7. They're going to colleges across the country, including 3 HBCUs. I got to give a shout out to Sky Marie Taylor. She is going to Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which is my alma mater. Woo woo! The #1 HBCU in the land with the baddest band in the land. I'm so excited about it. And Malaka, you happen to be wearing our colors today, so thank you for choosing that.
Perfect.
So yes. But we had some phenomenal scholars, and there were so many stories. And one thing I want to talk about just a little bit, and I'll get into it later. Remind me, Malika, we're going to talk about pivoting. Can you remind me that we're going to talk about pivoting? Mm-hmm. And then I'll go back to something that happened at the scholarship program. But so excited for the scholarship recipients. Thank you to the donors, the difference maker donors, the partners in education, our corporate partners. We are just overwhelmed and overjoyed and grateful, just flat out grateful to be able to meet the needs of these young people as they go on to their next journey. Amazing. There's so much more in the pipeline for these scholars. So keep in touch with Giving Hope and Help. We're doing a phenomenal work in the community, and we are up for Kansas City's best community organization next Sunday. That will be announced. In my opinion, we're all the best. As long as you're doing something for somebody else, you're doing the best. And so I'm excited about that. There is great things happening next Saturday. There's a huge back to school drive with Councilwoman Raina Park-Shaw partnered with we're partnering together, I should say. Giving Hope and Help and Councilwoman Raina Park-Shaw for Operation Backpack. We have spent thousands of dollars on backpacks for your students. Come to Swope Park next Saturday, August the 7th. Come to Swope Park at 11 a.m. There's going to be great things going on at this drive-through. It's a contactless drive-through. There'll be COVID-19 vaccines available. There will be backpacks filled with school supplies, computers, tablets, all kinds of things that your students will need to go back to school. So that is next Saturday, August the 7th. Also on August 7th, Giving Hope and Help is having their monthly free period pantry. And so if you or someone you know needs period products, all things period, underwear included, you can come to St. Paul AME Zion Church at 4000 South Minnie Street, KCK. Is very close to KU Medical Center. So that's St. Paul AME Zion Church at 4000 South Minnie Street from 11 to 1. This is a no questions asked, no ID required. Come and get the period products that you need. We are on a mission to end period poverty because we believe that no menstruator without period products must become a reality. It is something that we in the community can meet that need just like that. It doesn't take much for us to do it. And so we're honored to do that. And we've been doing that for over a year.
Recording in progress.
And we're so excited about it. So we got that covered about what's going on in the neighborhood and in the community. And there's lots of more things going on in the community. Keep in touch with KUAW on Facebook. They're always posting information as what's going on in the community. So keep in touch there as well. Listen, let's get down to business. You are here for Jessica Lynn Speaks Life. The guest that I have today, I'm so excited about her. Met her a few years ago through my beautiful friend, Michelle Gines. Michelle Gines was a co-host on the show with me. Remember we went to dinner at, what is it, J. Alexander? Where were we, Malika?
Oh, I can't remember.
I think we were at J. Alexander. Yeah.
J. Alexander, I'm sure.
We were at J. Alexander and met her a few years ago. And you never know how the pieces may eventually connect. So I'm just excited to have her on the show today. She's a phenomenal woman. She is beautiful on the outside and on the inside. And I'm big on accenting the beauty within. And this sister knows how to do that. Look at her. I mean, geez. She's the founder of Wives on Purpose. And let me tell you something. Her mission is bomb. Let me just read it so I don't mess it up. It says, to create a ministry, a universal community that brings wives and future wives together to gain wisdom concerning marriage, to break the back of divorce. To break the back of divorce. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you come up with that mission on your own?
Definitely not. I'm actually the co-founder because God definitely is the founder.
Love it. I love
He's
it.
Definitely the founder.
I love it. I love it. Well, I call him my CEO, Malika, because when people make mistakes and say she's the CEO of Giving Hope and Help, I say, excuse me, I'm not the CEO.
Yeah.
God is the CEO.
Yeah.
You know, he's the chief executive officer over this thing. And so I can definitely appreciate that you are the co-founder. So she is the co-founder. God is the founder of Wives on Purpose. And Malika and I both are wives. And so, yes, I'm excited to dig into more and learn more about Wives on Purpose. And listen, this is for you, even if you're not married. So, just be open and listen to what is going to be poured into you through this wonderful ministry. So Malika, what made you start? First of all, tell us a little bit more about you. Marriage, children, tell us a little bit, give us a little background.
I've been married for 16 years, July the 9th of this year. We've been together for 19 years. I have 2 children and a grandbaby. And this is just have been a burden. A marriage was always a burden for me because I never got to see it growing up healthy. So when I got married, it wasn't my idea to start a ministry, but in 2015, God spoke and I was like, God, I know you couldn't be talking to me. No way. But like I said, it was his idea. I fought it for probably a year before I launched it out. And here we are. Here we are.
Wow. Well, I think it's awesome. How long did you fight it?
I fought it for a year when he told me in 2015, and I did not actually come out with it until 2016 because I had already been through, you have different ideas about marriage before you get married. And so when God gave it to me to bring women that are married together with women that are not married so that we could have a real talk about love, marriage, and truth. Because of course the culture tells the story that, there's not going to be a struggle, it should be easy like Sunday morning. And that's how people end up in divorce court or end up divorced because they are not ready or they don't have an understanding that when you get married, you step into the enemy's camp.
Wow.
It's beautiful, it's God's idea, but when you liken it to what marriage originated from, which is God and his love for the church, then you understand that somebody died. You know, Jesus died for that covenant. So marriage is not a fairy tale. It's not, you know, what culture tells us that it is. It is, how well do you love? What does the love of Christ look like in marriage? And how can your marriage represent the love of Christ that he had for the church, that he gave himself up for that? You know? So that has just been a journey for me, you know, learning on the job, not having any examples before me, not seeing any healthy relationships, and just the general ideas that you have about marriage. You know, you think you get married, it is going to be beautiful, it's going to be perfect, it's going to be love. But these are all the ideas that you have created and that culture has created about love, not 1 Corinthians 13, which is the definition of love. So when you get into 1 Corinthians 13, it's a whole different thing. And yeah.
The greatest of these,
yes,
is love. Mm-hmm. And the agape love.
Yes.
And, you know, when you have a marriage and you have two people that said, I do, there is no way you can foresee what you really do when you say, I do.
You definitely cannot.
You cannot see. That's why the vows say in richer and poor, in sickness and health. But it just says those four things. But there's 4 million in between all of those four things. Yes. You know, this and that. And, you know, I always say if you just decide to stay in the love walk, you can make it.
It's definitely a choice. Mm-hmm. It's a choice every day to choose someone over yourself. Mm-hmm. And for me, the way that God has trained me is that he died for me to live. And so if that's not what you're willing to do for your spouse, then don't get involved. Don't get involved. And we're not talking about a literal death, but we're talking about the death of everything that history, culture, fairy tales have created about love. You know, die to that part and get into the real raw definition of love and what God meant when he created marriage, which is work. And these days, people don't want to do the work. I don't want to do the work. You know, nobody wants to do the work. But my love for Christ definitely has compelled me to do the work, to represent him well, to just die daily, year after year, to my version of love. And so I just endeavor to get the word out that love is not what culture has created. Love is what 1 Corinthians 13 says it is. And if you're already a type of person like I was, that was a record keeper, you're already
on the wrong track.
You're already on the wrong track. You know,
you on the wrong track already.
Already. I mean,
because love keeps no record.
I mean, can you imagine that is a thing in love today? Like, people keep records and you did this, and I used to be the same way. So I'm speaking from my own experience of the way that God has trained me in the truth about love. When he tapped me on the shoulder, I thought I was the most loving person in the world. I mean, I would give you the shirt off my back. I'm going to always be there for you. I thought I was just so loving. And he said, okay, let's come on down here and say I do. And then we can talk about love. I'm going to walk you through the reality of love, my love, not the love that the world has told you, but my love, the love that died on the cross so that you can even have the opportunity to be married. You know, that love. And people they think, you know, people want to get involved with marriage because they think it'll make life easier. They think that it is a certain type of status. You know, if you get married, then, you know, is something great about being married. And so you're not in that single, you know, but you have people that are married that wish they were single, you know?
Absolutely.
So
I think a lot of people are in love with, I shouldn't say a lot, but some people are in love with the day,
the wedding.
the wedding day, the
Yes.
event.
Yes.
At that point, it's an event. It's not even a marriage. It's an event.
Yes.
It's a show. It's a show. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? The dress and the bridesmaids and the cake and the food and all of the things that come with that day. They're obsessed with it and spend thousands of dollars because they have this dream of how it should be.
Yes.
And the marriage doesn't last for 6 months because God was never in the marriage. He was not invited into the relationship.
Absolutely.
And that is what I would love for you to talk about a little bit, what was the crossroads or what happened in your mind, or in what did God say to you to say, you think that you're kind and you think that you love. What was the aha moment for you to say, oh my God, I got a long way to go?
Well, him just walking me through 1 Corinthians 13, him just taking me from the top. That love is patient. I'm not patient. I wasn't patient. You know, love, for one, love, the big thing for me was love is not self-seeking. So
Talk about it.
I mean, and that's just in general in life. That's just with anyone. That's with a stranger. He took from that angle. He taught me about how, you know, if you know how some people really believe that if you have a bad day, it's okay to put that bad day on somebody else. If I have a bad evening or a bad night or a bad morning, I can come into work and have that attitude. Well, God told me that that's self-seeking. What if somebody at your office needed your smile today, but you're too consumed with whatever it is that you have going on that you can't even represent me? What if the person at the grocery store needed you to just say hi or to even acknowledge them, but you're so consumed with whatever you have going on, you cannot represent me today? So if you walk in love, then you realize it's not self-seeking. It's about giving and understanding that if you take care of his business, which is loving thy neighbor, he will take care of your business. But, you know, that is something that you have to be willing to yield and surrender. Like I have had to literally learn to surrender my will to his will, because our will is so strong. And, you know, like I said, we have all these ideas and everything that history has taught us. And that's a stronghold. Yeah. You know, that's a stronghold. And so as long as the enemy can play on the thoughts inside your mind that you have created that have nothing to do with wisdom, that have nothing to do with real love, then you're going to be divorced. You're not going to be able to cultivate a healthy relationship because
it's all about you.
About you. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
We on the same page. It's all about you. And, you know, in service this morning, which was a beautiful service, and it was about gratefulness.
Yes.
And, you know, one of the signs of showing signs of ungratefulness is self-consumption.
Yes.
Selfishness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not going my way.
Yes.
You know, bitterness, mad at everybody because you got a flat or you were in a car accident, but not even thankful that you didn't pass away.
Absolutely. Years ago in my marriage, that's what I started. I started a marriage gratitude journal. Mm-hmm. And so that I just used to write everything that I'm grateful. I still write it, that I'm grateful for about my marriage, so that I can go back and look at that and I can write it down so I can acknowledge the realities that there are great things. Yes, you have bad days. Every day is not going to be sunshine. Every day is not going to be beautiful. You are in the enemy's camp. You have a real enemy. It's not a game. So, but you have to remind yourself And for me, what I have to realize is my marriage has an assignment. It has a purpose. So with that, the battle is so intense because
because the devil doesn't want you to achieve it.
he does not want us to achieve it at all. And I mean, he is relentless.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You have to be relentless with understanding the purpose and understanding that who has already won. You have to understand that it's already finished. You know, here I find myself thinking about the conversation that the enemy had with God about Job. And I think about myself and I think, okay, so there has been a conversation going on about Malika in heaven. How, okay, God, she's okay, she does it good in this area and she loves there and she loves here, but that's because you haven't touched that. Touch that. And let's see
how she do.
And let's see how she do. And believe you me, he has touched it all. And yes. I'm like, you Lord. But it's just a continual surrendering, a continual yielding to the love of God. And that takes work. First of all, it takes knowing who you are, your identity, and that you have to know that you're loved. God loves you, and he wants the absolute best for you. His plans for you are good. Everything is working together for your good. And so if you cultivate that reality that I am loved from the inside out, whether the outside is loving me or not. If you have that as a core reality, then you'll be more equipped to walk in love, because you're not trying to pull or force someone to give you something and fill a space that only God can fill. I feel like a lot of women are looking for someone to fill a space that is only for God to fill. And so that creates a struggle and a lot of conflict about what you're actually not receiving. But it's really not so much about, sometimes it is, but not all the time. Sometimes it's just about you not allowing God to fill the space that was created for him only, and you expecting your spouse to fill that space. And if you don't,
sometimes, I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but I was reading a book years ago, and it was called Wives in Waiting. It literally just popped my mind when you said that, the last thing you said. And it was talking about, and I just lost it. This is it. You have all these things in your mind, like you were saying earlier, about what you think a marriage is and how you think it's supposed to be. And then when you get in the marriage, you may be surprised because it didn't last like that day of the wedding. Kind of went away. But the word was talking about in the book that you will never receive everything you need from your spouse.
Never.
Because you need to get everything you need from God.
Absolutely.
The two of you together are supposed to be example and a light that exemplifies the glory and the grace and the beauty and the majesty and the agape love of Christ. But you can tell him 50 million times, and I guarantee you, he's never going to be able to deliver it. If so, there will no need to be a God. Come on.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I mean about your identity. Knowing that you are loved, knowing that you are valuable, knowing that you are chosen, knowing that you are forgiven, knowing that you are victorious before your spouse ever came along. Just having a real relationship with Christ and letting him fill you up so that you won't spend your lifetime in your marriage trying to pull something out of someone that's not for them to do. It's not for them to make you whole. It's not for them to complete. You are complete in Christ already. But if you don't know that, you're looking for someone to make you feel a way that only Christ can make you feel.
And I believe that is one of the reasons that couples lead to divorce, because they're not getting what they need from each other. And then they end up with another person and they're not getting what they need from him or her. And it's a cycle. And my husband and I were talking about this the other day. You know, people today, it's anybody, just get married. Well, just get married. You can get out of it. That's the mentality, you know, and then you end up marrying the same person with a different face 3 and 4 times.
Well, that's because you're the person.
You're the problem.
It's you.
You're the common denominator.
Yes, it's you.
Yeah.
And that's a struggle for us. You know, sometimes as women, you know, we want to believe that it's well. That was my thing in the beginning of marriage. It's like, Lord, change him, Lord, fix him, this and that. And he was like, yeah, I could fix him in a day.
What about you?
I can fix him with a breath.
See?
You know, but see what I have, the work that I have for you to do, we have to do intense therapy.
See?
To undo all the things that have been put into you concerning love, the trauma, you know, the culture's point of view, the movies, everything that's telling you what love is, and it has nothing to do with the love of God. Nothing.
So go ahead. I was just gonna say, is it safe to say, in your opinion, that this the culture is counterproductive?
Yes.
For marriage, our culture is counterproductive for marriages. Yes,
you cannot accomplish the work that marriage is called to accomplish, because it is a kingdom idea. So you have to use a kingdom blueprint. You can't accomplish a kingdom blueprint with a culture blueprint. You know, there's nothing in culture that says long suffering. Nothing.
Leave quick, honey. Bye. Yes, drop him. Listen, we can get another one.
Yes. You know. Yes. You don't have to do that, you know, and we don't even want to talk about what the Miss-Independent mindset has done to destroy marriage. We can't even, that would take forever for us to get.
That never ends well. Not even in the movies.
No.
You know, not even in the movies does it end well.
Yeah.
It doesn't end well. I mean, she ends up, what was that movie? A Family That Prays.
Yes.
She thought that the grass was so greener on the other side.
Yeah.
He dropped her like a hot potato. And the man that she loved, and the man that loved her, you know, she did him so bad. And when she tried to come back, it was too late.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's what they're selling out here. That's what they're selling. They're selling that, you know, it's beautiful over here. Come along with me. You know, like it says, the enemy appears as an angel of light. So that's like the culture. It appears as a light. It's beautiful on this side. There's no struggle over here. You don't have to put up with this. You can just be who you are. Well, that's a big thing with me. I don't want to be who I am, because I know who I am will not produce the righteousness of God. There's nothing in me that is going to represent him well. So I can't be who I am. I have to be who he is causing me to be, who he's, you know,
molding you to be,
molding me to be. Yeah, I can't be who I am, because who I am, I'm not going to do the work.
It's flesh. You created a flesh, and your spiritual man will do the work.
Yes.
But it's very difficult to maintain and do the work in your own might. And I tell people all the time, I know you can't take it anymore, and you can't. In your own flesh.
You can't.
Because you'll lose your mind. The devil, that's what he wants. He wants you to not be able to take it. You can physically remain alive, but you'll lose your mind. You get all kind of ailments, cancer, all these things from stress, you know, because you're doing it in your own might.
And it's impossible. It's impossible. I
One
mean,
of the things you said earlier, you talked about how God basically showed you.
yes,
And so I kind of think of that as just encouraging people who are in a marriage and that may be tuned in, that things are not going well. And, he's not doing this or she's not doing that. And they should be, it's normal for a person in marriage to do this or whatever your situation may be. I would say pause and do some self-reflection
absolutely.
of what you're not doing, of what you should be doing, of what you desire, of what a good spouse that is walking in your shoes or what you should be doing.
Yes.
Like, okay, I'm the wife. What should I be doing? Forget about what he's doing, ma'am.
That's exactly
Let him do it. Let me tell you something. There is nothing that you can say to make him stop, because he ain't stopped yet. And you're still married to him.
Mm-hmm.
So what you have to do is you have to get into the self-reflection lane and look at yourself and fix what's wrong with you and pray over your mate. Pray over yourself. Do not be consumed. The word even says, do not be consumed with the things of this world.
Yes.
Do not be consumed with that. Present your mind, spirit, and body, a living sacrifice unto God. I know God will move. I've done it.
Yes, absolutely. See, that thing there, that requires work.
Yes.
That requires death. That requires you owning the reality that maybe what some of your thoughts and your ways are not correct or not right. But people don't want to own their part. They just want to say it's somebody else, it's somebody else, it's somebody else. And sometimes it is the other person, but you can't fix that. So you have to focus on what you can do. What can I do to work on me? Because you can't work on the other person. You can plant seeds, you can sow seeds all day long. You can, but the thing about us, we want to sow the seed, we want to water it, and we want to bring the increase.
We want to do it now.
Yes.
Yes. We want to see immediate change.
Yes.
Over somebody who ain't even been raised to live and walk with God. Come on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We want to see immediate change because we done prayed for 1 hour for the first time in our life and done snotted and cried on the floor and pleaded with God and said, God, I need you to fix it. I need you. And it's 2 months gone by. God ain't moving. You just said, well, God is ignoring. He ain't hearing me.
So I gotta go.
I'm gonna divorce him. Cause girl, I ain't got time. And then you're gonna get with other Tom, Dick, or Harry, and he the same person with a different face. Come on, somebody.
Because you're the same person. You're still looking for the same thing.
And you have it in your mate. I promise you, if you put God in it, he can fix it.
Yes, he most definitely can fix it. But like I said from the beginning people don't want to do the work. And again, I didn't want to do the work. I don't want to do the work. However, if I want to be a representative of the love of Christ, and if I want to increase in the love of Christ, if I want to increase in the ways of Christ, if I want to increase in wisdom, I have to deny myself the things the way that I think it should be, the way that I think it should go. Because my way is not going to produce kingdom results. But you have a whole world out there that's telling you that your way is perfect. Not God's way is perfect, but your way is perfect. And whoever doesn't
get caught up in that. Yes,
completely caught up. And if everybody doesn't come up under your way, then something must be wrong. Well, in reality is you're not doing it God's way. You might not be doing it God's way. And then there are some people that, you could be going along step by step, doing it God's way. And they're just like Job was. you know, but there was a conversation going on in heaven.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so you're doing you're doing it right. You're surrendering yourself to Christ. You're loving the way that He's calling to you to love. There's still more. There's still more.
There's still more.
There's still more work to do. There's still another level of love. You know,
talk to me about, talk to the single ladies.
The single ladies. Oh, my single sisters. The thing that I would like to share with the single ladies is, if you are not willing to compromise, and I know that is a word that women hate to hear, but it's a part of love. It's a part of love. I don't mean compromise your standards or your, you know, certain boundaries. Some boundaries you can't cross this line. But what I can guarantee you is that I have boundaries and deal breakers and standards and all this, and God has challenged them all. He has challenged almost all of them.
Wow.
So
can you say that again, please?
My standards, my boundaries, and my deal breakers, God has challenged them all. And your standards and your boundaries and your deal breakers could be perfectly right, but in your eyes, there is a way that seems right to a man, but the end is destruction, right? So all I want to share is, make sure that those standards and boundaries and deal breakers are connected to wisdom and not connected to emotions and feelings and heart chambers that wants its way. You know, seek God for wisdom on, first of all, who are you? Get your identity in Christ together first. Make sure that you know that you are loved, so that you won't be looking outside for somebody to fill this space of love that only God can feel. You know, understand that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. And by design, we were not created to think the same way. You know, we think that if he only thought like me, then things will be better. Well, if he thought like you, then who's going to do anything that has anything to do with logic? You know, because we could be on our emotional side of it, but then there's some things that need to take place logically that we might not be able to handle at the time because we're in our feelings. So understand that God designed it that way so that you can come together and bring out the best out of each other, not looking for yourself in somebody else. Learn to understand the differences between a man and a woman. Men are created the way that they are because that's the way that God has designed them to think. And we are created the way that we are because that's the way that God has designed us to be. And both ways are needed.
Both ways are needed. And you make me think of children. You know, children need a mom and a dad because we both offer different types of things that a child needs.
Yes.
My children got certain things from me that they will never get from their dad because it's not in him to give.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that we need to look at in our relationship, in our marriage.
Yes.
Your spouse may not have it in them to give you what you need because they weren't created that way. You were. So how about you give it to them?
Absolutely.
And show them by doing it, by being an example.
Exactly. One of the things that God would always say to me is, so if you believe that it is through loving kindness that I have drawn thee, why do you think that you would draw any other way? I mean, and it's hard to grab a hold of that concept when you're stuck in your flesh and it's the struggle and you're feeling like this is not working the way that you think it should work, or what I'm saying is not coming across, well, have you tried love and kindness?
Good.
Have you
No,
tried love and kindness?
and you can't say, yeah, I tried that, it didn't work. Well, how long?
Yeah.
The fruits of the spirit. Let's get that.
Yeah.
Let's get Galatians 5:22 to 23. The fruits of the spirit. Long suffering means long suffering.
Long suffering. And
long suffering.
Marriage is crosswork. It's just not a fairy tale, you know. More than anything, what I learn to appreciate about being married is my relationship with Christ. It has definitely developed that to a level that I would have never dreamed. I would have never dreamed that I could love in the capacity that I have been trained to love, because nothing in my history says that I should. Nothing in the world, in the culture, in, you know, my upbringing, nothing says that you should love beyond your feelings. Nothing says you should love beyond people, you know, doing things or whatever that you don't deem as okay. You shouldn't love beyond that. You love people to a limit. And when you get with God, it's like, well,
there are no
that's
limits.
not how any of this works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Because the thing of it is if we do our self-reflection, he loved us when we were really very ugly and bad.
While we were sinners. Christ
dirty,
died.
nasty.
Yeah.
You know, not doing anything right. You know, and I mean, just look at your kids. When your kids do wrong, you're just so disappointed. Excuse me. How you think he feel about us?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing, you know, I had to start comparing how I love to how he loves. Good. And if you could ever get to that, then you can grow. Then you can grow. Because as long as you are comparing your love to somebody else's relationship goals, somebody else's idea of, you know, this culture, what it's telling you, what the TV shows are telling you, you're not going to get it.
You on the outside looking in anyway.
Put your love up against Christ's love and then call me back.
Yeah, because, you know, people say all the time, you're one of my favorite couples, and I appreciate that. And I'm grateful.
Yeah.
That it is well in my home.
Yeah.
But a lot of people look good together, and they showstoppers together. But when they get home,
yes. Yeah.
Listen, you got domestic violence, you got all kind of stuff going on with beautiful couples.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is one of the deceptors of the enemy that he uses on single people. I want to have a husband like that. I want to have somebody love me like that. You are yet looking from the outside in. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Most times, them people don't even sleep together. They got separate bedrooms, but they look good on the outside.
Yes, and that is a very distorted view of love and relationships. I mean, I have people all the time that look at my wedding ring and they think, oh my God, if he don't give me a ring like that, this ring is my alabaster box. Okay. You don't know the cost of the oil in this ring.
Come on.
Okay. And so don't let that be the thing that says, oh, he loves me so much because he gave me a big ring, or he loves me so much because he give me this, he give me that. No, that doesn't think love doesn't come from the outside. Those are just extras. Those are benefits. Those bonuses. Are added
bonuses.
Yes, those are just added bonuses. Love is how well does he take care of your heart?
That's good.
You know, how does he honor you? You know, things like that. Not he brought me this, he brought me that, you know. But you can't tell the culture that, because I tell you, it's been going on for years. Everywhere I go, like plenty people, they look at the ring and they think, oh my gosh, this and that. I'm like, child.
Because they're thirsty. They haven't drunk the water yet.
Yes.
They haven't drunk the water from the well. And when you drink from the water from the well, you'll never be thirsty. And it's a lot of thirsty women out there. And no offense to anyone that may be tuned in that is so desperate for love. You know, my thing is fall in love with the real man first.
Please.
And his name is Jesus. He will meet all of your needs, so that earthly man that you fall in love with will be all bonus.
Absolutely.
Because everything that you need comes from above. With the person that you get with here on earth, the two of you together are to change the world. That's what marriage is about. Marriage is to bring others into the kingdom. Marriage is to show the love of Christ through your love to and commitment to each other. The word says to let your light shine so that men, when they see you, they will see his good works.
Yes.
See his good works.
Yes.
And so wow. If we can just get that. If we can just get that.
The truth about love. If we could just get to the truth about love, not what the world is telling us. The superficial. I mean, I hear so many superficial lists that women make. He's got to do this. He's got to have that. He's got to be that. Does he know Jesus? And does he adore him? Is what we want to know.
Because if he do that, honey, listen, check all the rest we can work with. Does he know Jesus?
Does he adore Jesus? Does he worship?
Does he love Jesus?
Does he worship?
Because if he loves Jesus, we already know you're gonna be all right.
That's it. That's it. That's it. And you think it's gonna you can work that thing backwards. You can, but it's gonna be real work. So I would suggest that you go in from the door. Now that's a standard. That's a standard that you can have, that he might not be far along on his way with Christ, but he understands that Jesus died, rose again, and is alive. Okay, he believes that.
Yeah, that's a start. That's a requirement.
You know, he can't be coming in talking about the universe. I mean, not for me.
Well, listen, my neck did like that when you said the universe. I asked someone, what do they mean when they say the universe? And they said, I mean God. And I said, oh, okay. Well, when I say God, I mean the universe. I just say God. I don't say the universe.
Yeah.
Because he's the creator of the universe. So why would I go to something that was created by him instead of just going to a creator?
Yeah, say his name. You always want to talk about say somebody's name. Say his name.
Say his name. Amen. And it's no secret. It's no secret. It's no secret. I do believe, Malika, you're 16 years in, and I'm 24 years in. My parents are 59 years in.
My Lord.
My sister is 30 years in. And let's see, my parents will be 60 years next June. They just made 59. My husband and I will be 25 years in next July. We just made 24. My sister and her husband will be 30 next October. So we'll be 25, 30, and 60. Mm. My grandparents were 69 years in when my grandfather passed. My husband's grandparents, both sets, were over 65 years married before both of them passed. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is I come from a lineage. My grandparents, my great-grandparents, same thing. I come from a lineage of staying power. Staying power. My lineage and my husband's lineage had the same staying power. That was Jesus Christ. Their marriages, all of them, were built on the solid rock and foundation of Jesus Christ. I won't change that for anybody. When I say Jesus Christ, that's my belief system.
Absolutely.
That my husband and I will exceed 25. We'll go as long as God would have us until death do us part.
Yes.
Because of the foundation. The word says to build your house on a solid rock. Build your house, your marriage house, on a solid rock. Foundation of the word. If you build it on your flesh, it will sink like sinking sand, quick.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's so wonderful and amazing, and to be able to have something to look, to learn from, to grow from. My husband and I, we don't have any of that history. So
and that's why I said it, because I want you to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because you are going to be the person to break that.
Yes. And being the person to break that, being the baby, the youngest child of 12, and no healthy marriages before me, no role models in marriage. And then for me to have that mantle to break the back of that cycle, to destroy and dismantle that thing that you can't have a healthy marriage. The work has been no joke. No joke. I mean, anything that the enemy could have thrown at me, at us, he's thrown it. And
because he doesn't want the generational pattern to be lifted.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And he's a defeated foe.
He is.
Because you have staying power.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And your flesh doesn't know that. Your natural person doesn't know that. And that's why you can accomplish longevity in your flesh. It is a God idea that is created by God in the spirit. And so that's the blueprint that you have to forever follow. The moment that you try to step outside and think that you're going to accomplish longevity in your marriage, in yourself, you can just forget it. You can forget it.
Because you have to die yourself. Because
you have to. You have to. It's no other way around it. There's no other way. And be willing to do it. Be willing to surrender and surrender some more and surrender again. And just allow God to use you. I remember years ago, God told me that your marriage is going to be poured out as an offering. Imagine that. Wow. Imagine that. And I didn't know what that meant, but along these 16 years and still now to this day, I'm learning like, okay, all right, this is what you're trying to create. You are creating this offering to give to the world, to represent what love really looks like. And you have to be a willing vessel for that. I was not a willing vessel. There are days that I fall off the wagon and I still don't want to be a willing vessel, but I surrender. I come up under because he is my master and I want to represent him. It's all for him. If it's going to bring him glory, endow me to do it, Lord. I know that's my purpose. And so if I become definite about that reality that my marriage is an offering and this is obviously what he has given me to do and given us to do, then I have to surrender to that, which is work because the enemy is constantly coming at you with all the reasons why you don't have to do this. And you have to be definite about, I will bring glory to God. His glory matters to me. Amen. His glory matters to me. Representing him matters to me. And if that requires me dying again and some more, well, that's what I'm gonna do because I haven't been crucified.
That's good.
I haven't died that death.
That's good. So would you say that your purpose has been birthed through your marriage?
Absolutely, without a doubt, it has. However, it was already created from the beginning, before the foundation of the world. This is what his plan was. I am catching up to his plan and just learning how to walk in it and grow and submit to
I just
his
think you've
will.
said yes. And I just think you've said yes. And I think that God has met you right where you are. I feel like, and I say this all the time, you said it earlier in the show that everything works out for our good. Romans 8:28, I believe you were saying.
Mhm.
But everything works out for our good to those who are called according to his purpose.
Absolutely.
And so when you say yes, that's the prerequisite for Romans 8:28 to be manifested. That it's going to work out for your good. But are you called according to his purpose? Are you called according to your purpose?
That's
there
it.
you are back to self-reflection. What are you in this for? Self? Let me tell you something. The rubber meets the road in marriage. The rubber meets the road in marriage. And God can, listen, things can happen in your marriage where it says in the word that you can divorce because of it.
Come on. Come on.
But when you have built your marriage on a solid rock,
My God.
on a solid rock, whatever he or she did, see, you got to think about what your vow was. Don't worry about what vow he broke or what vow she broke. What vow did you make? Come on, somebody.
Absolutely. For better or worse, I tell you what, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And everybody has something. I thought I had been through worse. And then here came another worse. And then there came another worse. And it was like, God, are you serious? But every time it shows you to elevate the love. It gives you more depth. That's how deep, and that's the depth that God has loved you.
Man, compassion.
Yes. And if you're saying you want to love like he loves, which was my prayer, and some days I'd be like, Lord, why did I say that? Why did I say I want to love like
test you?
Yes. It's like,
he put it to the test.
Come on,
he put it to the test.
This old bloody knee road with me.
I love it. I love it. Wow.
Bloody
Can you believe that it's 2 minutes to 6? Sis,
Did you want to
already
talk about pivoting?
We got to talk. Thank you. We got to talk about pivoting. So this is a great point to talk about pivoting. You may have a plan, like you talked about in your marriage. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to have, you got everything lined up. Sickness comes in. You can't have children. What are you going to do? You're going to have to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
You have got to learn to pivot basically every day of your life, married or unmarried, because your plans, come on and listen to me real good. Your plans are not his plans. Jeremiah 29:11 says, for I know the plans I have for you. People miss the word know, K-N-O-W. He knows the plans that he has for you.
I know.
For I know the plans.
Yeah.
That's what the word says, for I know. And so he knows the plans that he has for you. And so when things don't go your way in your marriage or in your personal life, you must learn to pivot. And when you pivot, pick up another mustard seed of faith. Yes. Pick up another mustard seed of faith, because when you pick up that mustard seed of faith, it's enough faith in that tiny little seed. It's a dot.
Yes.
That's all God is requiring you to have, is a tiny little dot of mustard seed to move that mountain, to move the mountain of infidelity, to move the mountain of drugs, to move the mountain of addiction, to move the mountain of lying, to move the mountain of cheating, to move the mountain of selfishness, to move the mountain of ungratefulness. Whatever mountain that you face in your marriage and in your single life, all you need is a mustard seed of faith, and that mountain will move. But you must do the work.
And all I can say to that is, I'm a witness.
Well, listen, you've been tuned in to Kansas City's global community radio station, KUAW. Jessica Lynn Speaks Live. This has been empowering. I hope that you have enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts. Malika, you have to come back. We have to do something together because I am on 9, okay? Cloud 9. I love you, everyone. We'll see you on the 3rd Sunday in August. I believe it's August 15th, but check your date. The 3rd Sunday in August. We're coming back with a powerhouse guest. Thank you so much, Malika, for being here. I love the God in you, and ain't nothing you can do about it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome. Be blessed, everyone.